This self-help mini-series is intended for information purposes only. It should be used with caution, and may not be considered as an alternative for psychotherapy or medications. It may help the listener in several ways, if used properly, for mild to moderate levels of difficulties. However, it may not be helpful to relieve symptoms and problematic behaviors which are of high severity. In case the listener is diagnosed with any psychiatric illness and is undergoing psychotherapeutic treatment, it is recommended that this video series could be used as a supplement to therapy, for educational purposes only. The listener should seek therapy from a qualified, licensed mental health practitioner for gaining any long-term benefits.
Healthy self-esteem. What is self-esteem? As human beings, we tend to place a value or a measure of worth to ourselves or aspects of ourselves. So, self-esteem usually refers to how we view and think about ourselves and the value that we place on ourselves as a person. Many people struggle with low self-esteem, so it is important to understand what healthy self-esteem looks like. If you are struggling with low self-esteem, this information may give you an idea of what to aim for. If you have already been working to improve your self-esteem, this will help you to summarize your progress in conjunction with the healthy self-esteem worksheet. Healthy self-esteem. Healthy self-esteem is about thinking about ourselves and our worth in a balanced way. It is absolutely okay and appropriate that we recognize our weaknesses. What we need to do is accept that we all have weaknesses and make a decision about whether or not we want to improve on them. We also need to recognize, acknowledge, and celebrate our strengths and successes. Also, don't forget any skills and abilities that might be neutral. Remember, it's all about being balanced. Coping with at risk situations. Having healthy self esteem doesn't mean that you will never encounter an at risk situation again. That is, a situation where you might be reminded of that old negative view of yourself. It also doesn't mean that you will never again think of yourself in a negative light. If you have done some work on your self esteem, then the situations that are risky for you will be less frequent than before, as the threshold for activating a negative view of yourself will now be higher. That means it will take a lot more to set off your low self esteem than before. Everyone might think of themselves in a negative way or get down on themselves at times. The important thing to remember is not to do it too often. So, even after improving your self esteem, you will still encounter at risk situations in which the rules and assumptions you have for living are broken or threatened to be broken. But you can handle them differently, cope differently, respond differently. Remember that the effect of your past experiences on how you see yourself today can be worn down by practicing new ways of thinking and behaving day to day. A model of healthy self esteem. Have a look at the model of healthy self esteem to see what it is you can do differently to continue building a healthy view of yourself. At risk situations. Situations where unhelpful rules and assumptions are broken or under threat. Activation of old negative core beliefs. Use thought diaries to develop realistic expectations of yourself and the situation. And develop more balanced self evaluations using thought diaries and listing positive qualities. This all leads to engage in helpful behaviors. Approach challenges with an open mind. Stop avoidance, escaping, and safety behaviors. Treat yourself well. Engage in life. No withdrawal, isolation, or self neglect. Adjust negative core beliefs by looking at the evidence, developing new, more balanced core beliefs, and then behaving in ways that support this new core belief. Adjust unhelpful rules and assumptions by questioning their helpfulness, looking at the pros and cons of these rules, and devising new helpful rules and assumptions and putting them into practice. Change unhelpful behaviors. Put your new beliefs, rules, and assumptions into practice. Last, possible consequences. Opportunities for new experiences and new learning. The possibility of adjustments or more flexibility in your rules, assumptions, and core beliefs. Threshold for at risk situations may increase. Thank you.